who are funding education, what is the greatest need when it comes to technology during COVID? This question is for both of you. What would you say the community needs?
Um, Honestly, like maybe the biggest thing that I feel like people need to, I don't even know if it's like technology. I feel like they just need to be informed of what some of like why we need school laptops and stuff. Cause I like they were giving them out, but they never like they need to be more clear on like, do you need one, or like here's one if you don't have one or something like that. But other than that, I think like probably like yeah, like laptops and Wi-Fi and stuff are really important.
Um, from a parental perspective, I think there just needs to be more support around, um, like we have access to the source, right? The source tells us what assignments are included in that curriculum, what's been turned in, what the grading is. So it's like the grades in detail per assignment and ultimately like cumulatively, right? Um, I think there needs to be some way to support the parents in not only keeping track of what their kids are doing, but also keeping a close tie to the teachers and understanding, maybe what their needs might be. I know that teachers are having a challenging time. I know that most teachers don't know what their students look like. They wouldn't know them if they passed them in the street on the road. You know what I mean? And I think that there's just a huge disconnect with education right now, and it almost feels like um, it's not being taken seriously because it's not in person. Um, I am proactive in reaching out to teachers, and even still, it's challenging to stay abreast to kind of what's going on, um, and learning that my kid's having a hard time, a bit further down the line than I'd like, and then hearing teachers say stuff like, "Well, we're just if you didn't do anything, we're just giving C's." Like they're just giving people, C's. And it's like on the one hand, I get it because maybe there's some folks who, like he was talking about, his friend who does have lack of access or does have spotty Wi-Fi. We have Wi-Fi issues sometimes too, where we're all three of us are shut down for the day, including my work, and it's just as something going on in the area. It is, maybe a bill didn't get paid, right? So got to need a couple of days to figure that out, if I'm just being honest. And so that impacts everything for a couple of days or a day or whatever, however long it takes to kind of get that under wraps. I think the parents need more support, and I think the kids need more engagement. I think the kids are not being engaged. I think videos should be on in all grades at all times, and I understand why they shouldn't be also. I understand the privacy factor. I understand everyone's not in an environment that's extremely conducive to them sitting in a virtual classroom and doing class right now with their video on. And I also recognize that, some kids are going to have some other issues if they have a toy gun in the background and it makes the teacher uncomfortable or something like that, but they are in their room. And I think it's just challenging, and there's a lot that actually needs to be done. I mean, I think the school system is having a really hard time, and the parents are having a really hard time, and the kids are having a really hard time. But if it's something that folks need, I think the kids need better engagement, and the parents need more support. And engagement looks different for each kid. So they have to figure out a standard way to do it, right? Because they got 20, 30 kids in the class. So, and then parents are going to need different type of support. Like, I need support around keeping track of kind of what's going on and not waiting until someone's like, "Oh my God, what happened? Like, where's the final?" Or you've missed 6 assignments. and then someone's like, oh, he missed 6 assignments, I'm not able to build that same rapport that I was when I come and drop them off at school and chat the teacher in the hallway before school starts, and on the way out, say hello to the other teacher and say goodbye to the principal, so that they're actually keeping, when they notice something going on, they call me or text me or email me, and I'm on it right away. Like it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same village. The village ain't the same,
Yeah.
And I think folks are trying so hard to not be blamed for anything when it's not about blame. It's about just evolving into something that's better for everyone, it growing and continuing to grow. So
cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing. That's some really great insight, and especially knowing, like, one, they didn't give like specific enough instructions about why the computers might be needed, and the computers didn't work well, right?
no,
and I'm
it didn't work well at all. I mean, the one we got didn't work well at all,
And I'm sure that's something that varies from school to school
I
and
imagine it might.
neighborhood to neighborhood, right?
I imagine it could.
So, I mean, we know that equity has not been, there hasn't been equity in education, right? I'm sure that there are certain schools and certain places that have the top-notch latest computers and everything works. And instructions were probably even given on why. So, that would be a great investigation to really see, like, how widespread is this problem of computers not working, or lack of engagement, right, with parents. So,
and to say something, like, to add to what Manny had said about why it's important, I think it's important, and maybe they didn't know it before, but I hope they know it now, just like with the STEM class and the robotics class. We didn't know that we needed to have that computer with that, firewall or lack thereof. I don't know the computer lingo, and access to that software in order to be able for him to be successful in that class. And so, it's important to know if some people already have computers and we're still having problems, and we still are lacking access to something like STEM. And I have a MacBook. He has a Dell. They got PCs, you know what I mean? And because we didn't have that very particular thing from that very particular laptop from that very particular school district, he was unable to be successful in that class. Like, that just was what it was, And so, so if they offer a computer and you're like, oh, I don't need one, got one, you might not be okay. Even if you have a brand new one that works well and has everything else you think one might need, you still might not be successful because of something else. And so, again, it may not have been something they knew at the time, but now that we know better, we can do better and make sure folks know that, no, it's really important that you have this one, and it's really important that we make sure this one works.
That's really great insight. Manny, Anya, thank you again so much for sharing. I appreciate your expertise, and I'd like to wish you a great last day of Kwanzaa and a happy 2021 in the Gregorian year.
Thank you. You too.
All right, I'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.